Criticism is a major fact which makes people stumble. Let's see today how it has been dealt in a Christian approach. So, we see today the topic: criticism in Christian life. Criticism arises from various factors. They are judging, focusing on others, trying to ignore own mistakes, justify own acts and try to put fault on others, trying to put down someone in front of others, showing self above others, a side product of pride and ego, lack of humbleness, trying to humiliate someone. What is criticism? When one starts to judge others, we do criticism from mind. From Bible, we know that when we start to think of doing a sin in mind, the sin has already happened. When we criticize, we do it from words and action. Bible says, "But the things that come out of a person's mouth come from the heart, and these defile them." Matthew 15:18. Criticism is the practice of judging the merits and faults of something or someone. In simple terms, when we criticize, we judge and comment on others' actions or words. Are the facts used for criticizing are true? Is there any truth in the facts criticizers say about us? Think on it. One can criticize for anything for which there is a visible fault or mistake, or something worth criticizing in us. It is because everyone who criticizes themselves are scared of getting criticized, and if they criticize for something which is not at all visible to others even in slight form, they who criticize themselves in turn gets criticized by others who see him doing so. So one knowingly or unknowingly criticize others for something which others could notice, but that are mostly not being noticed by the one who gets criticized. Thus, every time when one criticize or say ill of you, remember, even if one says them for any enmity or hatred, or for any reason, but there would be something true in the fact for which they criticized us. This fact can be something we can know to correct ourselves and improve self. Let us now see who are criticizers or critics. All of us are criticizers at some stage of life or many a times, though we don't realize them. Criticism starts from judging others. We unknowingly judge for those which we ourselves have deficiency or mistakes in. It is a natural truth. That is why Jesus said in Matthew 7:4, "How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there is a plank in your own eye?" Deep within us, our spirit realizes the facts of deficiency or our mistakes and warns us. But instead, when we delay in rectifying them by giving those issues to God, then the bodily nature or the satanic nature of flesh encourages us to put the fault at others by seeking for same or similar faults around in someone. Even if it is negligible compared to ours, the evil nature in us identifies it and zooms it to our eyes. And to the evil tries to put our minds to the fact that we get justified when we showcase and criticize the same thing in other person in a much magnified scale. Actually, the other person's fault or weakness is usually lesser than what we have within us. Who gets criticism? Only if you have something in you that's worth, then you may get criticized rightly or wrongly. Jesus Christ has always been criticized in his life, and even today some do. There is a phrase, "Only a mango tree which has fruits gets thrown by stones." If you were not worthy to have something, no one would ever waste time to criticize you. If you are criticized, be aware that you are worth something which makes others criticize you. Remember to accept criticism with a positive attitude. Either grow with it or fall with it. Decision is yours when you are criticized. How should we respond to criticism? Use criticism as a mirror to see ourselves. Though rarely criticism could be fake, but mostly criticism can be for something which we have mistakes to rectify, which we are unaware of. They unknowingly show us our mistakes to help us become perfect, even though their intention would be to humiliate us. We have blind spots in our characteristics and behaviors which can be seen only by others. When a fault is that blind spot, only criticism from others can help us the most. Usually parents and teachers at our childhood show us many of them, but as ages grows, they tend to stop, and we expect them to stop saying. Then only chance to see them is through criticism. So, let us use them effectively for betterment and growth. This can help for personality traits, spiritual growth, mental growth, mannerisms, and in many ways we can't even think of. How our criticism to others can guide us. What we use to criticize others are our great guiding points. Let's meditate on that fact. Most of our blind spots can be recognized by the method which Jesus taught us. Let us see to it. It is best to find our faults, which our normal consciousness doesn't think, is by checking our own judgments towards others and criticisms we do. It is for sure that on checking deep, we have the same things in a much stronger level, but just that we were neglecting them to forget and justify ourselves from our own consciousness. In Bible, Matthew 7:3, Jesus said, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye, and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?" It is a strange truth that the same things for which we find mistakes in others are usually in us in a magnified quantity. Check yourselves. You will be wondered to see how big truth it is. This is one of the deeper meanings of Jesus' words. The words of Jesus have usually deeper meanings than the superficial ones, which we realize only on meditation with Christ. Never judge and criticize others. Whatever we judge are our own mistakes in others. So for sure, we will be much more judged back for the same in life and would have to pay back in multiples. So let us find our mistakes from what all we use for criticizing anyone around. Convert criticism into positivity. This is about the criticism we face. Recognize our faults and rectify in every level. Be thankful and pray for those who criticize us, instead of hatred, vengeance and violence towards them. This will change us and them towards divine goodness. From Bible, Romans 12:20 says, "If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head." We can see the same in Proverbs 25:21-22. Use painful criticisms as tools to convert into blessings. We can accept with thanks for painful and irritating criticism, and devote before God, and could trade with God for the blessings of all around. God pleases with us mostly with this process. We can't give God anything other than thankfully accepting pains and struggles, and instead of them asking for blessings, which He gives to us very happily. Thus, let us please God by accepting humiliating criticisms. Convert criticism into blessings. Use criticism to find faults and blind spots to rectify ourselves. Use them for spiritual growth. Use others' criticisms to improve personality traits by checking on the facts for which others criticize us. Use our criticism nature, that is, the facts in mind, that we think to judge and criticize in mind and by words, to identify our deeper wounds, issues and faults, and get a deeper healings and rectifications. Let us use self-criticism for betterment ourselves. Let us use the guidance of Jesus by using the fact to identify the mistakes and sins that lie in our blind spots by checking the criticism and judging that we do on others. Using them to sanctify ourselves in deeper levels to God. Let us use the criticism we face from others to convert to positivity by trading them as accepting as our pains and challenges to get blessings for many people around us. May the God bless and guide us when criticism comes from us and towards us in our life. Subscribe the channel, like and share the video. Let us grow in Christ.